Oh, cut your lotus feet is the last one. Okay, everyone got it? If you want to mark it, may I just, I think it's 44.
Shri Mataji. Welcome to the Saturday evening program. This is being broadcast from Canberra. Let's all bow down and praise Kundalini and take Bandhan. Let's put both our hands on Mother Earth. Let's put our attention on Sahasrara. Mother Earth, please help us get into balance. Mother Earth, please bless us with your gravity. Mother Earth, we thank you for letting us walk on you. Let's put our left hand on the lap and say the Ganesh mantra followed by the 3 Mahamantras. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Ganesha Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Shri Mahalakshmi Mama Saraswati Mahakali Trigunatmika Purposeless Purposeless Sakshat Shri Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kalki Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Agni Sakshat Shri Sahasrara Swami Moksha Pradayani Mata Shri Mana Devi Namo Namaha let's close our eyes and stay in meditation while we fix some technical issues.
I bow to all the seekers of truth. I bow to all the seekers of truth. I bow to all the seekers of truth. I bow to all the seekers of Hari. I bow to all the seekers of Hari. I bow to all the seekers of truth. 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 As Dr. Reeve, all the seekers of truth has told you, you have to become something. I bow to all the seekers of truth. We are born as human beings and we take it for granted. Dr. Reeve, all the seekers of truth has told you. We are born as human beings and we take it for granted. Dr. Reeve, all the seekers of truth I bow to all the seekers of truth. As Dr. Reeve has told you, you have to become something. What do we have to become? We are born as human beings and we take it for granted that we are human beings. We have to ask a question to ourselves, why are we human beings? What is the purpose of our life? Is it that the whole evolution is purposeless? That there is no divine play in it? Then why it was done with such care? And why we have become human beings? So first, we have to come to right conclusions. That is the counseling, you can call it. We have to understand that we have not become what we are supposed to be. That's why we are in confusion. We do not have answers for these fundamental questions. Some believe in God, some don't believe in God. Some believe in Christ, some believe in Muhammad, some believe in Krishna. Some say that it's all science. We are so confused. And there is no answer to it. The reason is we are not that what we have to be. Supposing an instrument is given to you and you don't know anything about that, then you don't know what is the purpose of that instrument and for which it was created and to what use it has to be put. Thus, there's a confusion. And the confusion is to such an extent that in that confusion we have formed firm ideas, mental projections, artificial, without any biological basis for it. There is no biological basis for our mental projections. Just sit down here and think now that see this kind of a government if you make, then people will be all right. This is your own mental projection. It has nothing living behind it. It's all dead thought. By changing the governments, have you been able to transform the people? I've been to Russia, I've been to China, I've been to America, to all these places. Human beings are just the same. There is no difference whatsoever. Maybe some are more honest, some are more dishonest, some are more immoral, some are less immoral. But on the balance, if you see, you find any kind of person everywhere. So one has to understand that this kind of mental projection that we were having about other things like social work. People think that being social work and all that, our ego can be conquered. The greatest egoistical people are the social workers. Now these mental projections have created also lots of norms for us. Like I sit down here and decide I'll give a title to someone. Now he becomes a title holder. Then he's off, finished. Once for all, he's dead now to anything that is reality. Because he's living with something so unreal, which was given to him by somebody which is so unreal. There's nothing living force behind it. Have you seen any man changing by getting some sort of a title or lot of money? On the contrary, he becomes worse, never improves. So what is the reason? Why is it that when we go into an enterprise of this kind, why is it we find that everything fails? You talk of democracy, it becomes demonocracy. You talk of communism, you find it is another headache. You talk of anything, it all becomes such a funny thing and it recoils back. Whatever you try, any enterprise, it recoils back. Science, what is science now, has become nothing but atomic war. How is it science gone into the atomic war? No one knows, but suddenly it has become a great threat to the whole world. Computers, tomorrow computer will start dominating us. We see those things clearly happening to us. And we are worried, we are shocked. Well, we don't know why is it, whatever we try to do, why it recoils on us and entangles us and enslaves us. The reason is it has no living force behind it. It's only mental, at mental level. And human beings live only on mental level. So there has to be another higher level which is generated when you get in contact with the living force. Now let us see what is the living force. The living force is that which sprouts the seed. The Mother Earth sprouts the seed. If you see the Mother Earth as it is, you don't find anything in it, nothing. There's just clay. But you put some seed, and that wasteful thing that you think of no use, this mud, that gives that life to the seed. And you find that the flowers become fruits automatically. It's a wondrous world if you start looking at the living work of the living force. Because we are not in connection with that, whatever we do, we go into problems. But nature does not, while we do. The reason is we have lost our biological sustenance or process. We are not biologically acting, it's all dead action. What we do is all dead. For example, as I told you before also, that something is dead, a tree is dead, and you make a chair, then you think, I have made this. From dead to dead to dead to dead. And this dead sits on our head. You make a chair, you cannot sit on the ground. Then we start another thing like anti-culture business. That also just the same. Like pendulum move, we move. Now we don't like democracy to have communism. From communism to democracy, democracy to communism. There's no movement. Now what is the biological movement? Within us, as you know, there are peptides in our body. And the biological movement of peptides is shown when the movement is spiral. When it is spiral, then it is biological. And when it is linear, then it is said that they have lost their biological sustenance. They have no biological quality in them. They have become linear. So that sustenance within us, that spiral movement within us, is existing in our nerves, but can become absolutely linear, leading to death. All our mental projections are linear. Because we cannot with that, in our own awareness, jump higher. It is so outside. For a man might think, I must try to improve the whole world, I must do this thing. There was a gentleman I met who is in charge of the peace of the world. And the most disturbed personality I have ever come across. He was jumping this way, he was jumping this way. Every sort of disturbance was in his mind. And he's supposed to be in charge of the peace of the world. Imagine. Now what's the matter with the gentleman? Though he thinks of peace, he thinks of such big things, he talks of higher ideals, everything. What is it inside? There is nothing, no peace. He's just talking outside. What is the reason? The reason is, it's only linear. He has accepted that he is in charge of the peace, he must talk of big things, he must talk of ideal things, and then the whole thing drops off. We had League of Nations, now we have United Nations, all flops. So to make it spirally activated, what have we to do? First of all, we have to come to the right conclusion, understanding that whatever we have done so far has been linear in its action. It's not biological. We cannot transform a flower into a fruit. No living action we can take. We cannot perform any living action. Once we understand that, then we have to know that we have to become more, to be in connection with that living force, that all-pervading force. And to get to that all-pervading force, what have we to do? Actually, what did we do to become human beings? Nothing. We just became spontaneously, sahaj, spontaneously. It was just some force within us which worked it out. That made us human beings. We didn't do anything. So one has to understand that if it is a living process, then you don't have to do anything about it. It is effortless. This is very difficult for human beings to understand. It is very difficult because they live with their ego and they cannot accept that you cannot do it yourself. They think we can do it ourselves. It is not possible. It cannot be done. You have to go to the Mother Earth to ask the seed to be sprouted. You cannot sprout it. You may try to dissect it, analyze it, put it under microscope, but you cannot sprout it. For sprouting, you have to surrender yourself to that Mother Earth who does the job. To begin with, we have to understand that we are not capable of doing any living work whatsoever. Once we have that humility within us, then we start seeing what can happen to us by which we can become the masters of that living force. To become something, you have not done anything, and to become higher, you don't have to do anything. That means there is built in within you the complete mechanism which is going to work it out. Now before you, I would say it's like a hypothesis for you, and you have to understand it as a scientist would understand, with an open mind, because this is the science of the divine. It's not known so far. This is the knowledge of the roots, not known to anyone so far, I can say, but known to some people who have evolved themselves. They have gone above that state that is just mental. And these are the very few people who know what it is. This knowledge is not of today, is of thousands of years, but is not the knowledge of the tree, as I told you, which we have, but is the knowledge of the roots which we have to understand. The knowledge of the roots is that within you is placed the root, is called, is it here? No. Somebody can come up, please. Here in the triangular bone is placed the thing called Kundalini. It is a Sanskrit word. One should not be so frightened of Sanskrit. I was surprised when I went to America. The first question they asked me, why should you come and teach us about these things which were in your country? I said, to me, it is just the same whether it is America or India. Why did you come to India to teach us about science? Why this kind of an attitude people have? Wherever there is knowledge, a humble person must go and see. This was discovered about 14,000 years back, where in England, I don't think people lived here in this country. So why should anybody feel humiliated? When you think you are English or you are American, you are wrong. You are a human being. God never made a world like that. We are all one, and everybody has to support each other. Like a flower thinks I am a flower, a leaf thinks I am a leaf, and the roots think they are roots, then how the whole tree is going to manifest? Just think. We are one. There is nothing that you are the tree and you are the leaf and you are the flower and we are everything. So to think like that, if that is another mental projection we have, that I am this and I am that. You are just a human being which has been created by God's grace to this level as the most beautiful thing, the epitome of His creation. I would say that in the West there are more seekers perhaps than we have in the East perhaps. But that doesn't mean that it is only because it is England or America, but it is only that all over the world God has this blessing and the message for everyone. So first of all we must understand that this is the knowledge of the roots, and this knowledge of the roots, unless and until we know about it, we have no right to criticize. Moreover, by criticizing you are not the gainer, you are the loser. So with complete openness of a student, we have to see to this, that this great force is placed within us in a triangular bone, whether you are an Australian, American, English, Indian or coming from Timbuktu. All of you, if you are human beings, God has placed this force within you. He doesn't understand these differences actually. It's only we do understand. For him it's the one world, that beautiful world he has created, and all the human beings are his children. So in this triangular bowl is placed this beautiful thing called the Kundalini. And this Kundalini is the motherhood within you. It's a quality. It has nothing to do with a woman or a man. It's a quality, is a type, a personality. For example, I would say today Mahatma Gandhi, people accept him as a great man because he had the quality of compassion. He had the quality of giving, of nourishment. In the same way, all the saints of the world had this quality. They were motherly, full of compassion, love. Christ had the same. He was so full of compassion that you cannot call him in the worldly way a man, because man means he must hate, he must aggress, he must do all kinds of things to show his evil. No, he was a personality who had compassion, who had nourishment. Now to become that personality, what have we to do? Again say nothing, because it is all placed within you. The expression of Kundalini within you is the expression of that great personality. When that happens to you, you yourself become like the Mother Earth, that you can give. You can project yourself, that you become compassion yourself and your compassion acts. These days, Kali Yuga is the modern times. What was the Kali Yuga? The days of confusion is over, and it's called as Krita Yuga, means where this living force will act, and this living force has to act through you. You become the medium of that living force, actually you become the master of it. But the beauty of this is that it manifests within you also. For example, the electricity is flowing through this. It doesn't do anything to this instrument. But when this force starts flowing through you, you get completely transformed into a new personality. And a personality that Christ has described, that you are to be born again. Again, linear way is that artificially people can brand themselves born again. But when it happens to you, you are completely transformed from within. And the transformation is so visible and so active as Krita Yuga has started, that you are amazed, you cannot believe it is fantastic. Because you are fantastically made, extremely fantastically made, and that all thing starts expressing itself as soon as it manifests. So a human being should know that he is made with great care, great love, and for a very great thing is to enjoy the love of his Father. When this Kundalini rises within you, passes through 6 chakras. The 7th it does not cross. The 7th is the guard. Then it creates that spiral movement within our awareness. The awareness itself gets spirally formed. And instead of moving in a pendulum, you move in such a way that you jump higher. Your awareness becomes higher than what it is today. So the human awareness becomes higher. There are lots of misunderstandings about this. And it comes from the ignorance. Because when you start seeking something from ignorance, what happens? That whatever you find is a partial truth or could be something not the truth. For example, in the darkness you might see this and think it's a snake. A wire might look like a snake. But supposing you suddenly become enlightened. Of course, in the beginning, light may not be that strong. In some people, it could be a little bit. Just a flicker. But you start seeing them. And gradually, if the light improves and the lantern improves, I can say, then you start seeing it very clearly what has gone wrong with you. And you start correcting it. Now the new awareness that comes into you is not something that can be just certified that all right, now you are realized souls, have a brand and go ahead. It is not that way, but you become conscious of that awareness, because for the first time when the Kundalini pierces through the spontaneal bone area, then you feel the cool breeze of the Holy Ghost coming in. In the Sanskrit language, Holy Ghost is called as Adi Shakti. Most surprising is that, I don't know why, but in the Bible, Holy Ghost was not discussed much. Adi Shakti is the Holy Ghost. And about Adi Shakti, if you have to learn, you have to go to Indian scriptures. Even in the Old Testament, they say Jews know about it. Now this power, which is the all-pervading power of God, the power of His love, becomes evident because you start feeling it on your fingers. And as you say in the English language, you know on your fingertips, your hands start speaking. You can feel another personality, you can put the hand towards another person, and you can see what are the centers catching, because they are shown on these 5, 6 and 7 on the right, 5, 6 and 7 on the left. This is the emotional side, and the right is the physical and the mental side. Now the doctors cannot deal with the psychosomatic or psychological things, and it's a very big problem because there is only analysis going on. Now for a doctor it is important to know both the sides of human beings, or I would say the 3 sides, the physical, the mental and the emotional. But it is not so, he just knows part of it, while a psychologist knows a part of it. And that's how we cannot find out the reason for the problems that exist within us. But when this Kundalini rises, she passes through these 6 centers, which are the milestones of our evolution, and thus integrates you completely. So the first thing you receive is the integration. By that integration you are amazed that physically you get cured. There has been a criticism about us in the newspaper that we have started curing people. Thank God we are not in America. There we would have been arrested, because the doctors there do not allow anybody to cure anyone. But we do not cure. Automatically it happens. When the Kundalini will rise, automatically it will happen that your whole being itself will become integrated, by which you will be healed. You will heal yourself. Nobody else is going to heal you. I don't know under law if you can charge a person if he heals himself. But this will exactly happen, that you will heal yourself and you will know how to heal yourself. But this is nothing. It's not only the physical side of it that happens to you. It's just the minimum of minimum. But those people who are suffering from mental trouble also get healed. The third side of it is that physically you are all right, mentally you are all right, and emotionally also you are all right. Now there is a very big confusion about mental and emotional in English language. So if you have to say mental as the brain is concerned, then they mean to say that person who is mad is a mental case. Actually he is a heart case, because he is working with his heart. He weeps, cries, but his head goes off. It's the balance. When he is working with his head too much, his heart goes off. That's another balance of the nature. So if you have even the problem, if you think too much, some people are so mad that they go on thinking, like mad, they cannot stop their thinking. They think, and their thinking maddens them, but they cannot stop it. So here, when the Kundalini rises onto this point, you become thoughtlessly aware. You don't have to think, you can stop your thoughts. If you want to think, you can think. If you want to stop, you can stop. It is not necessary for you to think. And that's exactly what happens when the Kundalini rises here that mentally you become absolutely comforted. Now this business of raising the Kundalini is a business of God and which cannot be sold. You cannot have a business on the human level. You cannot sell it. You just cannot do it. How it happens is automatically, by the grace of God, it works out. You cannot sell anything that is the grace of God. What is the value of that? On this point only many people discard Sahaja Yoga because they think that it cannot be sold, so it must be useless. It is so invaluable that you cannot pay for it. Now the rising of the Kundalini has to take place first of all. But with these three advantages, the fourth advantage is the highest, that you become the spirit. The spirit is the one who is the master in you. So you become your own master, you become your own guru. Nobody has to tell you, do this or do that. You are guided. Because as soon as the Kundalini rises, you start feeling the cool breeze in your hands. And these are giving you a new vibrations, a new dimension by which you know whether to do this or not. For example, you want to do something, you want to buy a book. You don't have to decide about it. As soon as you go near the book, either it will give you cool breeze, or it may make you hot, or may a little bit burn also if it's a horrid one. And you don't want to have that at any cost. You want to have the cool breeze because you enjoy it. So you just give up. You just give up things without anybody telling you, because your vibrations tell you. The spirit that is now shining your attention tells you. And you start understanding that now I have become my own guru. Because your guru is sitting inside you as the spirit. It has not yet manifested in your attention, and that's why you are worried. But just it manifests. And once it manifests, you are amazed that you yourself have become a guru of yourself. You don't need anybody else to tell you, but you can do it yourself. You can find out yourself. Nobody has to give any explanation or correction or anything. You just start improving yourself. Automatically it works. A little bit, if you know how to decode it and how to work it out, your problems, you just manage it. You become yourself a guru. That's the thing you have to. Of course, I told you, you cannot pay for it. It's an insult even to think that you can pay for it. Nobody can understand this, that this is complete benevolence, is complete. It's not mercenary act of benevolence, but it is a complete, absolute benevolence. And for this benevolence, you cannot pay. As soon as you pay for it, it is no more a benevolence. And that's why you cannot pay for it. You cannot work it out. It has to just work out. Now, especially in the West, there is a problem with people that they think, why should mother do it? I tell you, it's a thankless job. You cannot do it. If you can do it, I'll be happy to retire. But you cannot do it. That's the point. This is my job, what am I to do? Supposing I am that, what am I to do now? If I have to do it, if I am supposed to do it, then what should I do? I mean, supposing you are posted as something, you are a policeman. You have to do the policeman's job. Now, how can you challenge it? He has to do it. As if you can say, I am paid for it. Or you can say that, this is my job. This I have to do. Though I know it is very, very troublesome. To get it done is not easy. It's not very easy. Everyone may not get realization. I cannot guarantee. I cannot say that you all will get the realization. It's a very difficult thing. Some people will just miss it for some time. There's nothing to be worried about it. It has to be corrected. It has to be redeemed, as they say. The Kundalini has to be brought up. If there are centers catching, they have to be cleared out. They have to be brought up. And we have to have complete understanding and compassion about ourselves and love for ourselves and respect for ourselves, that if we have to become the light, then we have to adjust and cooperate. Now the thing is that the ego part of it is the strongest enemy of realization. I like it, I am this, I am that. When you say of I, it is not yourself, your spirit, but it is your ego that says I. When you become the spirit, you don't say I. What you say? It. You talk in the third person. You say it is not coming up, it is not working out, it is not. In a third way. You never say I will raise the Kundalini. What you will say? The Kundalini is not coming. The Kundalini is not there. In a third person you start talking, so that you do not take any credit or discredit for it. Now, it is for you to observe it and see for yourself. It depends on your power of observation. Whatever Dr. Reeves may tell you or anything, you don't have to believe those, because it depends on your own observation and sense of penetration. Like I would say, I went to the Jungian Society, and the chairman of the Jungian Society was an 82-year-old man, and he got his realization. And I told about Jung's mistake, why he missed the point, which they understood very well. But then he got up very humbly and he says, Mother, now you have learnt our language, let us talk your language, let us learn your language. And then at the second meeting he says, now I have observed one thing. It's not a question, but my observation, if it is true, that you don't believe in time. There's no time, just to give it like that. That depends on your own observation. But I would not like to accept any ideas about me, because I know it is terrible. Sometimes it can act against. Some people may just leave, they can't bear it anymore. So that's not the point. You have to see for yourself, observe yourself. There's nothing to gain from you at all for me. You cannot give me anything, whatever you may try. There's nothing to ask for. It is you who have to take something from me, which you better have it. I'm like a cashier on the bank. See, you have got your checks. Now, I have nothing to get from you. The cashier is paid for. All right, that's one point, is different from the employee, but not by you. And what I have to do is to take your checks and cash it. Now, when you are in that position, will you be angry with me for that? Will you say to your cashier, why are you doing this to me? Why should I take money from you? If that is intelligible, then we can see there is some meeting point between us, and we can talk of realization then in a way that it has to be done. You all have to have your key, your spirit that is within you. Perhaps I know that better than you. You know many things better than me. I don't know even how to use a plastic bag, but I know how to open the Kundalini. I am so hopelessly bad at so many things which are so trivial and simple, which you can do just like that. I cannot do it. So it's all right. So I am also quite humble about it. I don't mind. I don't know many things, but I know one thing is that you are the spirit, and you have to become the spirit through the awakening of your Kundalini. This
Shri this day. May what you have me be. May I this day say what you have me say. May I this day be part and parcel of the world, and may my thoughts be alone. Maria, my soul, may I this day my love for all mankind. Knowing my love in my heart and in my mind. May I this year grow as you have me. May I this year learn what you have me know. May we this year stand tall and carry forth your light. May we keep your vision ever in our sight. May we this year try love to sweet you not. Only my love be your heart and in our minds. May I be strong, may as you have us, may we be strong. Love as you have us love, may this world become the lotus flower falls in this golden age. Oh, freedom of my soul, may we this one fulfill our destiny. Holy Mother, be our heart and in our mind. May I this day be what you have me be. May I this day say what you have me say. May I this day be part and parcel of the world, and my thoughts be Lord. Maria, my soul, may I this day have love for all mankind. Holy Mother, in my heart and in my mind. Holy Mother, in my heart and in my mind. Holy Mother, in my heart and in my mind.
E questa è God's my shepherd. The Lord's my shepherd, I'll not want. He makes me down to lie. There pastures green, He leadeth me, that Lotus feet, Mother, this is where I'm meant to be. No past, no future, just peace at your feet. At your lotus feet, Mother, this is where we want to be. No thought, no worries, just silence at your feet. At your lotus feet, Mother, this is where Lord is with me. Watching, feeling just joy at your feet. At your lotus feet, Mother, we hold. lotus feet are. At your lotus feet are. This is where we're meant to be. This is where we're meant to be.
Let's meditate for a few minutes. And we'll take some names of Shri Durga Mata. O Divine Mother, you are verily Shri Durga, the Mother of the universe. Salutations to you. Shri Durga Mata Jagadamba. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Durga Mata Jagadamba Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. You are the daughter of the mountain Himalaya, Shri Shailaputri. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Shailaputri Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The one who observed the state of celibacy, Shri Brahmacharini. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Brahmacharini Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. Adorned with the moon as your bell, Chandra Ghanta. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Chandra Ghanta Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The one whose void contains the universe, Kushmanda. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Kushmanda Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The mother of Shri Kartikeya, Shri Skanda Mata. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Skanda Mata Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The foster daughter of sage Katyayana, Shri Katyayani. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Katyayani Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The dark night of dissolution, Shri Kalaratri. Om Tvameva Sakshat श्री कालरात्रि साक्षात श्री आदिशक्ति माताजी श्री निर्मला देव्यै नमो नमः. The Adi Kundalini, Shri Mahagauri. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Mahagauri Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devi Namo Namaha. The bestower of Siddhis, Shri Siddhi Datri. Om Tvameva Sakshat Shri Siddhi Datri Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Sakshat Shri Adi Shakti Mataji Shri Nirmala Devyai Namo Namaha. Let's stand for Aarti. Mataji, Shri Mataji. Bolo Shri Adi Shakti Mataji, Shri Nirmala Devi ki Jai. Let's bow down and raise Kundalini and take one. That brings us to the close of today's collective meditation program that we hosted from Canberra. And we hope you didn't mind the initial technical glitches. Good night. Jai Shri Mataji.